Welcome to the Friday Spotlight Energy Report for December 17th, 2010. Hosted by Jed Knudsen, Shona Kay, and Julia Batchison. Here is Shona Kay with this week's major headlines.
Thanks, Jed. As the UN climate talks were winding down, former Japanese chief climate protection negotiator Mitsuyoshi Nishimura submitted a proposal for a carbon market valued at $6.3 trillion. The proposal includes a plan for the worldwide sale of carbon allowances, totaling 250 billion metric tons from 2010 through 2020. This would generate a huge chunk of new wealth that could help offset the cost of poorer nations coping with global warming impacts. Mr. Nishimura stated the key part is to cap globally and sell allowances to all corporations. The program would involve governments dividing 660 billion tons in allowances through the year 2050. Each allowance in the 250 billion ton initial phase could sell for $25. The cash incentive would allow governments to overcome their differences to determine a global emissions peak year and allowance distributions to each nation. India and China may increase their coal imports to 337 million metric tons in 2011. They are the two major economies in Asia experiencing the fastest growth. Economic expansion has increased electricity demand, resulting in the need for more fuel. In 2009, China added coal-fired capacity of approximately 51 megawatts. This is more than one half of the capacity of the UK. In early 2011, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia will hold hearings regarding the right of the Department of Energy to withdraw an application for use of Yucca Mountain to dispose of nuclear waste. This is the latest in a push for Yucca Mountain to serve as a repository for nuclear waste that has cost $10 billion over multiple decades. The Energy Department filed the license application in June 2008 with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. Early in 2010, it filed to withdraw this application due to the fact that during the last presidential elections, Democratic candidates promised to cease nuclear waste development in Nevada. Washington, South Carolina, and Aiken County within South Carolina filed an appeal, claiming the Energy Department was not authorized to withdraw this application. Supporting the Aiken County efforts are the National Association of Regulatory Commissioners and the Nuclear Energy Institute. Now over to Jed for our top energy news stories in the United States.
Thanks, Shona. The renewable energy sector is hoping that Congress will approve a one-year extension of the Renewable Energy Cash Grant Program this week. Under this program, project costs are covered up to 30%. Approximately 1,500 solar and wind projects have benefited from this program to the tune of $18 billion during the recession. Just last week, it seemed as though the program would expire at the end of this year. Lobbyists representing various alternative energy sectors worked tirelessly to convince legislators that this program is needed to continue the rapid growth that alternative energy has experienced over the last year. A year-end large omnibus spending bill delivered by the Senate includes $8 billion in nuclear power plant construction loan guarantees. Even though this was more than the $7 billion the House approved, it was a far cry from the $36 billion President Obama had requested. On Tuesday, Texas regulators approved an air permit to the $3.5 billion Tenaska Trailblazer Energy Center. This 600-megawatt clean coal power plant will be located 180 miles west of Dallas. The plant will capture between 85 and 90% of its carbon emissions to use in the Permian Basin oil-filled enhanced oil recovery operations. This plant will also be designed to minimize other pollutants. In addition, it will reduce water use through dry cooling technology. Tenaska must now complete design and engineering studies, as well as source financing and purchasers for the carbon dioxide and electric power generated by the plant. Now over to Julia with more energy news from around the world.
Thanks, Jed. Solar power plants in India will soon receive backing from the Asian Development Bank, ADB, for $425 million in investments. The bank will guarantee 50% of loans made by Indian and international banks over the upcoming 3 years for Indian solar projects with under 30 megawatts of capacity. The guarantee will back commercial loans that are made in dollars, euros, or rupees. The ADB will cover up to $150 million in payment defaults due to issues that could affect the output of the solar projects. These include insufficient solar irradiation, financial difficulties, or technological failures. According to Sujata Gupta, ADB private sector group head in India, the bank may also extend the loan payback period from 8 to 15 years. The Philippines will be expanding its role in the nuclear energy sector. In addition to promoting the peaceful use within its own borders, the country will strengthen its international role in combating nuclear proliferation. Philippine Foreign Affairs Secretary Alberto Rumalo recently met with International Atomic Energy Agency Director General Yucca Mountain regarding these issues. The Philippines served as president of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty Review Conference in May at the New York headquarters of the UN. This conference dealt with nuclear disarmament, non-proliferation, and the peaceful use of nuclear energy. The IAEA has identified the Philippines as an ideal pilot site for peaceful use of nuclear energy. Health Undersecretary Mario Valverde said that his country plans to work more closely with the IAEA regarding cancer radiotherapy. Secretary Rumalo stated that the agency can also assist the Philippines if and when the government decides to include nuclear power generation in its present energy mix. Now it is time for our energy tip of the week. December, January, and February are often characterized by high winds and freezing temperatures. This combination can result in cold drafts entering through windows and heat escaping. There are several things that can be done to alleviate these problems. The first and most obvious solution is to upgrade older windows using new storm windows. Newer windows can help prevent as much as 50% of the heat escaping compared to older models. If buying new windows is not feasible, some other measures will still help. During the winter, it is more important than ever to keep your windows clean. Clean windows allow the sun to shine through and use its natural heat to warm the home. However, when the sun goes down, you will want to close the blinds and curtains to try to keep the heat inside. If not, the cold glass will make it difficult to warm up any room. In addition to keeping your windows clean, we also recommend using a window sealing kit, especially if you have older windows. If applied properly, there should be little, if any, draft coming in through the windows. Used together, these tips will help to keep your home warmer and your wintertime utility bill lower. That is your energy news and tip for this week. For more headlines, visit us at worldenergymedia.com. This is Julia Batchison for Jed Knutson and Shona Kay at World Energy Media. Thanks for watching and have a great day.